So, this is lecture number 12 for the finite volume series, and we will start with term wise discretizations for individual term in the transport equation. So, the first one we will begin with is the diffusion equation. So, if you recall what is our equation, the essentially the transport equation for any scalar variable that we have been talking, that is in this particular form. So, phi is any scalar variable, then you have rho v phi equals to delta dot gamma delta phi plus source term. So, this is the essentially the transport equation for any scalar phi. Now, this phi once we use, so it is a generic form for the transport equation. So, from here we can actually get back our momentum equation, we can get back our energy equation, temperature equation, species mass transfer equation, any kind of equation. So, what we have done so far, we have talked about the basic details about this equation system. So far what we have covered is the basics of the governing equations, and then the partial differential equation or the classification of the partial differential equation. I mean, essentially when you talk about the basics, you talk about all the governing equations or the transport equation. So, the governing equations are essentially are one class of partial differential equation. So, once we talk about the partial differential equation, we have also discussed the classification of partial differential equation. So, then we have done the discretization using finite volume method. So, once we do that, what we have done essentially, we have taken this complete equation and discretized over a particular cell and looked at it. So, there we have details, some discussion on the issues related to boundary conditions, then we talked about mesh or the grid, and meanwhile while doing all this also we have discussed the derivative calculations through Taylor series expansion. So, all these like derivative calculation, then transformation. So, all this we have discussed. Now, the important point is that when you look at this complete equation here, this transport equation, there are different terms. So, one is this unsteady term. This term is essentially this is the unsteady or transient term. Then you have this term, second term, which is essentially the convection term. Then you have the diffusion term. It is more like a generic diffusion term. So, corresponding to every equations we have, for example, if you go to momentum equation, this will lead to the Laplacian form of second derivative of the velocity component. If you go to temperature equation, that will give you the temperature Laplacian, and the last term is the source term. So, these are the different term that are there for this transport equation. Now, what we have done so far is that we have looked at the complete equation in totality, and then we talked about some basics of discretization method or the rather the numerics. So, numerics, when we say numerics, is essentially means that the discretization. So, this discretization could be spatial or it could be temporal. So, when we have the transient term sitting there, or the governing equation which has that unsteady term, then the discretization also needs to be accounted for the temporal discretization. That means with the order of integration for that transient term, and if there is no transient term, then the discretization needs to handle the spatial calculation only. So, we have discussed the numerics in some details for the total system. If you look at that, but that time we have not actually discussed what is going to happen to this individual component, because if you look at this component, for the time being you just drop out the transient term, we will handle it later on, and you drop out the convection term. You look at the diffusion term with some source or without source term. The reason is that now convection and diffusion, if you look at this convection and diffusion, these terms are handled separately, because you require separate numerics or discretization technique to handle this individual term. Why? The reason being, convection is a different phenomena, diffusion is a different phenomena. Typically, if you have a flow which is convection dominated, that time diffusion become quite less important. So, convection actually becomes predominant phenomena on top of diffusion. In certain flows like boundary layers or somewhere, boundary layer and the flow to close to the wall, diffusion become dominant. So, when the diffusion becomes dominant, convection does not play a big role. So, that is why the numerics associated with these two terms, that essentially the convection and diffusion, they are completely separate, and bottom line is that they needs to be treated separately. So, essentially needs different treatment. So, the discretization pattern would be completely different, and also while dealing with these two terms, you need different interpolation profile or method. So, you need that kind of situation. You cannot club them together and use similar kind of discretization to have this term getting the discretized and lead to the algebraic system. So, that is why you need to treat them separately, and then what we plan to do now onwards, since we have talked about all the basic stuff. So, where for your CFD calculations, what are the essential component? Your essential components are essentially your grid, or rather you can start with your physical problem, move to the computational problem or computational grid domain, computational domain, grid, then governing equation transformed to the, so PDEs, these are transformed to the algebraic system, and then finally the solution. So, you got all these different steps. Now, we are talking about, we have talked enough about the grid, we talked about the physical problem including boundary conditions, but anyway the boundary condition will keep coming back when we treat them separately. And then finally, we will have looked at the algebraic system, but now what we are planned to do, we will treat this individual term of this equation. So, essentially this transport equation, we will treat them individually the terms and do the discretizations. Once we do that, then only you will able to see what are the problems associated with each term and what kind of special treatment you need, how to handle some individual elements, how to handle the special cases. So, all this will be the now point of discussion when we do that. To start with, we will start with the if you will just leave out the left hand side of the equation, we will start with a steady diffusion system with some source or sink term. So, that is what essentially the discussion that will follow now on will be primarily on the diffusion system. And what we are going to do, we will look at, the plan is that first we will look at the diffusion system, diffusion equation or diffusion system. Once we look at the diffusion system with some source term or sink term, then that will actually allow you to lead to some sort of a linear system. So, we need to know the linear solver. So, we will do that. So, from here we will move to this. First we will do the diffusion discretization. When we talk about diffusion system, essentially we talk about the numerics, and numerics means it will include all sort of natural calculations, sort of special calculations, any boundary conditions, any special treatment required for a particular kind of discretizations, everything that includes all sort of things. And also what we will plan to do, we will start with then we will move to the, since we are done with the diffusion term, and by that time we will have our linear solver also ready, we will add the convection diffusion system, convection plus diffusion system. So, that is how we move to the increasing order of complexity. When we talk about that, there you will talk about both steady and unsteady, everything. So, we will do that. So, that means by that time we have our, for any scalar, once we reach to the step 3, for any scalar transport equation, we should have fair amount of idea how to discretize the convection diffusion system, whether it is steady or unsteady, and then put it in a linear solver, how to get a solution done. Once that is done, then we will move to the fluid flow problem, where actually we will solve our Navier-Stokes system. So, this is the way, and then we will move to some special topics. So, that is the plan of action now on, and so that you will see whatever we have discussed so far, these are essentially the backbone of our discussion from now on, because whatever we have discussed, whatever we have learned so far, they are going to be used in each of these steps. And as we move along this line, essentially in the top down approach, that means whatever we will do in the diffusion system and the linear solver and all these, they would be directly applicable or required in the convection diffusion system. And then once we are done with the convection diffusion system, we will move to the fluid flow problem, where you need all the primitive variables like pressure, velocity, all this coupling is required. So, that is another challenge where we will see how to handle those kind of variables, and then we will move to some special topic and do the conclusion. Now, to begin with the diffusion equation, so essentially when we start the diffusion equation, there are two ways one can do. First, look at the simplest system, that means we start with the system or the discretization in structured framework. That means we have already done enough discussion on the grid. So, structured framework means we want to remain on the structured ordered mesh or Cartesian mesh. So, this is basically your Cartesian mesh, and then second step would be to look at the discretization on unstructured mesh. That means it would be some sort of a polyhedral system. So, the element would be polyhedral element, and then while doing that, each case will talk about our discretization pattern, how to calculate the equations, how to do the source term calculations, then that will include boundary condition, any special treatment or trivial issues. So, that is the way we will go about it. So, as we said, we will begin with, so the overall framework, if you look at it, the overall framework lies here. We have a transport equation in hand which is unstudied in nature, and there are different terms: transient term, convection term, diffusion term, source term, and we will now look at the finer details of individual terms through the discretization. So, we will start with the diffusion system, that essentially the right hand side of the transport equation, and why the logic behind that is that this system is going to be the simpler to begin with, then we will add the convection to it. So, just to begin with, we will start with a structured diffusion system or Cartesian system and then move to the unstructured. So, having said that, let us have a system of a 2D, this is essentially a 2D system, 2D structured Cartesian mesh, Cartesian grid. So, it is some generic system it shows, and the equation that will start with the steady state diffusion equation. So, that means our governing equation will be minus delta dot gamma delta phi equals to q. Okay. So, that is our equation which will govern the system. So, we have made it simpler. So, drop the unsteady term and we will look at the steady diffusion system with source term. So, q could be a source and sink. Now, we have put together these things in a rectangular Cartesian grid, okay. And rectangular Cartesian grid, if you look at it, this is how you can define your reference frame. This direction is x, this direction is y, and the element of interest is some interior cell which is marked as C. So, essentially we are interested in this particular cell, and once we do that, so the same logic as we have done earlier, same logic can be used for all the interior cells. Once we have a algebraic system ready for cell C, can be replicated for other interior cell. While said that, one has to note very carefully, we are only talking about interior cell, because why? When you come down to boundary, that requires the boundary cell requires the or boundary element, it requires special treatment. So, that means when you have a domain, whether it is 2D or 3D, the domain must be divided in two segments. One segment, segment A, which will actually comprise with all the interior cells or elements like this, what we have shown here, C, W, N, and then you have another segment which will only represent the boundary cells. That means the element which are associated with the boundary that actually provides the boundary condition at a particular plane or surface, depends on the geometry which is 2D or 3D. If it is 2D, then it would be a face, if it is 3D, it could be a plane. So, that is first task, that the physical domain is separated in two segments, one is interior cell, another is boundary cells. Once we do that, we just look at this picture. If you look, we have just actually divided in some cells, and again if you recall from our previous lectures, this particular arrangement can be said that we are in the discretized indexing system. For any finite volume system or finite volume numerical process, you have all these elements, their connectivity, connecting faces, connecting nodes. These three important information need to be stored in your array or data structure, and one can have for three different representation of his physical domain. One could be local system or local indexing, then the connectivity between local indexing to global indexing, and that can also feed back to local system, and then there would be a discretized system or discretized indexing, which will again lead back to global and global to local. So, here what we see here, it is a discretized indexing. So, we have considered one particular element C or the cell C, which is sitting inside the domain somewhere. Now, once we talk about the discretized indexing or discretized indexing, that essentially one can think about this shows the stencil for discretization. That means the particular concerned element which is associated or surrounded by some other elements, all this information. So, it boils down to that one important thing, that all connecting elements, connecting faces, connecting nodes and their index. So, all this important information needs to be tacked upon. So, if you look at this particular C is sitting here, C is the center of this particular cell. Again the discretized system convention will follow the directional convection. So, the directional convention is like this, you have a element sitting here, ahead of it, it would be east cell, that is why the upstream of it, the cell which is, if this cell is in a local indexing, if this is ij, then this guy is essentially I plus 1j, and discretized indexing, it is the east corner of it. Now, behind that particular cell it is the west. So, this is how we define our direction also. So, this could be I minus 1j, these are local indexing. Then up of it is north, that should be I j plus 1 cell, and the down underneath of it is south. So, it is actually how compass shows the thing. So, that is the convention it is followed in finite volume algorithm, and eventually that makes life much simpler to understand the discretized indexing, or rather it becomes easy to grab the idea. Now, in the down or underneath cell it would be I j minus 1. So, these are the local indexing. So, this I j, this is going to be local indexing for this system. and one can transform from local to global, then the cell number would be n, n plus 1, like that, n minus 1. So, there can be always a correlation which can dictate the indexing pattern. So, once you do that, that means this particular cell, ahead there is a cell, and then these corners, all these corners are also going to be the northeast corner. This is going to be northwest corner. So, if you see the cell which is at the sitting at the corner, essentially this is the corner, this is northeast cell, this is northwest cell, then you come down to this side, it will be southwest, and this is southeast. So, as I said earlier, this stencil or discretized indexing typically follows the directional index or the notation. So, that makes life easier to understand that whole ideology. So, if you see that this is southwest, this is southeast. Okay. So, that takes care of the element. So, theoretically or ideally the C is surrounded with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cells. So, that is our directional things. One middle cell or middle element is sort of surrounded with 8 neighboring cells. All these elements or cell, they are the neighboring cells to C. Now, the distances. This Cartesian system which is shown in this particular case, it has uniform grid spacing. Okay. So, that means the cell width for element C, so the delta x C is equal to delta x E equals to delta x W. So, the distance of this particular cell C, this is equal to the delta x of E, and similarly they are equal to this delta x of W. So, that is in the x direction. Y direction also, the delta y of C must be equals to delta y of north equals to delta y of south. So, this is the distance of south cell. So, this is delta y south, this is the distance of north cell. So, that is delta x of delta y of north. So, uniform spacing also makes things bit simpler. We will start with that way, and as we move along the discretization and all these things, we can look at the non-uniformity also. Now, this takes care of the cell size, neighboring elements. Now, there will be faces. This particular element C, which is essentially, look at it, it has only these 4 faces which are kind of connecting faces with the east element, north element, west element and south element. So, these are the connecting faces for C. And another representation which is going to be also used or which will be consistent, or rather has been consistent throughout our lecture, is that face which is connected with the east node or east cell is marked as small e face. So, if I look at this particular system here, So, this is my south, this is my C, this is my E, this is my north, this is my west. So, this face is E, this face is small w, because this face is connected with west node, this face would be small s, this face would be small n. So, this would be n, this is s, this is w. Okay. And the surface vector which are there, they are going to be marked accordingly. So, if you look at it, the surface vector which will be acting here, which will be marked as SE. So, SE is the surface vector at face E. Similarly, this is Sn, this is Sw, this is Ss. So, Sw, Sn, Ss, these are the surface vectors at faces W, N, S respectively. So, which has been marked in this particular figure. This is SS, SE, like that. So, now in addition to all this marking, now we should also have an idea about the distance between the centroid C and E, which is marked as del x E, and the C and W del x W. Now, since this is a uniform system, these two will be also equal. And now, in the y direction, the distance between centroid C and S is delta y s, and north and C is delta y n. They are going to be again equal, because the whole discretization which is depicted here is on uniform system. So, that take care of the all the distance and the notations of this. So, once the stencil definition is over, we can move to the. So, if you keep this picture in mind, this is how we have it. This is my cell C, this is my E or AC, this is my north, so north face, this is my west face, so W, this is my south, south face, okay. And the distance between this is east, distance between this is delta x E, distance between this is delta x W, distance between these two is delta y south, and distance between this is delta y north. So, this is a small information, if you keep in mind, then we can. So, our equation is del dot J phi is Q, okay, where your diffusion flux is defined as minus gamma delta phi, okay. So, as we have done that, you do the integration or volume integration, and then convert to surface integral to get back a algebraic equation. So, that we have already done. So, if you follow the same procedure, essentially doing the integration and all this will turn out to be the summation of f over all the faces minus gamma delta phi of f dot SF equals to q v c. So, we are writing for V c is the volume of element C and Q c is the source or sink for element C. Okay. So, that is what it does. You get this algebraic system. Okay. So, if you expand this one, now you expand this one, once you expand this one, this will now essentially this is written for this element C here, and once you expand that, it will go over these 4 surfaces. So, it is a 2D element, so the loop goes over, loops over 4 faces, and the faces are east, west, north, south, and that is why it is very, very important to keep track of this notation east, west, north, south. So, if I expand it, it will be now written minus gamma del phi at east face dot is plus minus gamma del phi west face dot west vector minus del phi north dot Sn plus minus gamma del phi south dot Ss equals to Qc Vc. So, that is my expanded equation which is turning out to be. Now, this grid is uniform, number 1, Cartesian. Okay. So, the surface vector are normal to the respective faces. Okay. This is very, very important. If that does not happen, then we cannot straight away, we have already seen we cannot, if they are not collinear or they are some sort of a off the center connections, then we cannot straight calculate the surface vectors. So, having said that, we can estimate AC, AC would be nothing but the surface vector which is delta y positive east dot I. So, this should be essentially magnitude of AC I. So, one can write AC I. So, the normal vector is here SE, which would be this distance into the unit depth. So, that is what it does. Similarly, you write for SW, which is minus delta y W I. So, this should be minus SW I or SW I. And why does this minus sign come here? Because if you assume this is the local coordinate system, this goes in a positive I and this goes in positive j. So, this is my positive direction, this becomes negative direction. Okay. S n would be delta x positive n dot I, which is essentially n dot j S n j, and similarly S s would be minus delta x S j, which is a S S j. So, here you get all your surface vector definition. Once you get that surface vector definition, you can calculate all these individual surface fluxes, the diffusion fluxes. First, let us look at the east face. So, if you look at the east face, so that is essentially your J E dot S. So, this should be minus gamma del phi E equals to E dot S E. So, this is the term essentially. Now, this term if you expand, now this would be gamma E S E del phi by del x I plus del phi by del y j dot product with I, because my AC is essentially AC I. So, this is the dot product with I, and what you get back here, it is a dot product of I. So, you get back with this term only, minus gamma E AC del phi by del x E. Okay. So, that is my east phase diffusion flux. If you look at it, now we got a expression, we will continue this notation for all the phases like gamma E, gamma W, gamma N and gamma S, just to represent that if there is no non-homogeneity, then they would be equal. If there is a there is a homogeneity, they would be equal. If they are not homogeneous, then they could be different. And the discretization technique or the numerics essentially takes into account the non-homogeneous contribution of the diffusion term. So, that is what we will retain this suffix of individual phases. Now, once you obtain that, so if you now write the diffusion flux at the east face, which is total flux at east face, which is the flux C phi C plus flux F E phi F plus flux B E. So, flux C E, flux B E and F E, these are essentially coefficients of phi variation between C and F, that means any neighboring element. So, these are the coefficients. Now, if you assume the linear variation, let us say the phi variation is linear, then you can have the system like this: C east, this is east face, this is the distance delta x e, and this is the variation, and the linear variation will do the job. So, this would be phi c and this would be phi e, and the slope is del phi by del x. So, this is the slope of that linear variation. So, that is the profile would be the interpolation slope of these two. So, what I can write del phi by del x e with the linear variation phi e minus phi c divided by del x e. Now, this expression, if you replace in this particular equation, so combine these two, what you get is that total flux is minus gamma e delta y e, which we have, this is gamma e a c del phi by del x. So, gamma e delta y e phi e minus phi c divided by del x e. So, if I rewrite that, this should be gamma e delta y e by delta x c phi c minus phi e. So, this negative sign is taken into account, which is also equivalent to my expression flux C e phi c flux F e phi f flux B e. So, this would be, you can write this one flux E here. So, if you take the mapping of the coefficients, you get here, before that you define this particular system, let us say d e equals to delta y e by del x e. So, then if you map the coefficients for phi c and phi e, you get flux C e equals to gamma e d e. Similarly, flux F e equals to minus gamma e d e, and the third one, the flux B e is 0. So, this is what you get as the coefficient. So, once you get that, then you got your these things. Now, when you move to the waste phase, we can similarly find out that flux, the total flux at the waste phase is minus gamma del phi W dot S W. So, which will turn out to be minus gamma W S W del phi by del x I del phi by del y j dot minus I. So, this is as per our definition of S W. Okay. So, S W is minus I. So, if you do this, this would be gamma W S W by del phi by del x W, okay, and which can be again written that. So, I can write the total flux T W equals to gamma W S W del phi by del x W, which is nothing but gamma W S W phi c minus phi W divided by del x W, and the coefficients would be flux C W phi c flux F W phi W plus flux V W. If you match the coefficients from these two equations, then you get flux C W equals to gamma W df dW flux F W equals to minus gamma W dW and flux V W equals to 0. So, these are the coefficients that you get, and the dW definition is similar to our dE definitions, which would be like where dW is my delta y W by del x W, which one can think about magnitude of S W divided by d C W, which is S W by d C W. So, that is our definition of. So, similarly, we could write for S d E, that d E we had definition of del y E by del x E, which is magnitude of A C divided by d C E, which is A C by d C E. So, we got the surface of east and west. Now, you have two more surfaces which are left, the north and south. So, you can get it in similar fashion. We have all the required information which is available. So, if I put this together, the flux T n, the total flux would be flux C n phi n or flux Cn phi C flux Fn phi n plus flux V n, okay. And the south would be flux T s, the total flux would be flux C s phi C flux F s phi s plus flux V s, okay. So, this is the total flux definition, and once you do the mapping for each case you get, for this case you get where flux C n would be gamma n d n, flux F n would be minus gamma n d n, and flux V n would be 0. And similarly, for this case we get flux C s is gamma s d s, flux F s equals to minus gamma s d s, and flux V s equals to 0. So, you got all these coefficients, and where your d n would be magnitude of S n divided by d C n, which is nothing but your delta x n by delta y n, which is S n by d C n. Similarly, you get d s definition, which would be S s divided by d C s, which is delta x s by delta y s, S s by d C s. So, you got all these coefficients, and now if you put them together in the final equation that you had, basically the equation of this, that you had minus gamma del phi is dot A c plus minus gamma del phi w dot S w plus minus gamma del phi n dot S n plus minus gamma del phi S dot S s equals to Q c V c. So, if you put everything together in this particular equation, now whatever we have now obtained, if you put them together, so what you get? You get an equation A c phi c plus A e phi e plus A w phi w plus A n phi n plus A s phi s equals to B c. So, this is the algebraic equation that you get, or the linear equation, and the coefficients that you can calculate, and we will see how to calculate that in the follow up lecture. Thank you.